Vermont is a national leader in community-supported agriculture and has more per capita direct market sales from farms to consumers than any other state in the country. I'm Nathan O'Leary for Comcast Newsmakers at the Vermont College of Fine Arts in Montpelier, and Chuck Ross, Secretary of the Vermont Agency of Agriculture, joins me to discuss the status of today's agricultural industry. And Secretary Ross, thank you for joining the program.
Pleased to be here.
Vermont has a very long and rich agricultural history, very well known in the country. What exactly does that history mean, and what does that industry mean for the state?
Well, you know, in many ways, this industry has been the heart and the soul of the state for decades. It really has shaped our culture, our character, and now it's continued to shape our communities. And it represents the Vermonters' connection to the land, their interest in where the food comes from. And it's a dynamic and exciting place to be when you're in Vermont agriculture these days.
Now that might be true of Vermont, knowing the connection, but you know, in a more global world, there does seem to be a growing disconnect between farmers and consumers. Can you explain the concept of agricultural literacy?
Sure. You know, agricultural literacy is really the understanding of how your food system works, how the agriculture system plugs into that food system, where your food comes from. You know, so you know what end of a chicken and egg comes from, you know, where a glass of milk ultimately comes from, and how you put a sirloin on a platter. When you understand those things, you then have a better appreciation for the manure spreader going up the road in front of you, and you're knowing that it's actually recycling nutrients onto the land.
It's that simple. Those simple things. Now, Vermonters, as I said, seem to have a better understanding of the food system than in other regions. Can you talk about the community-supported agriculture in Vermont and how consumers have embraced that?
Yeah, it's really critical to our literacy because it is the place where consumers who want to know what they're buying, they want to know how it's produced, where it comes from, and who does the producing. When they enter that consumer-supported agricultural world of buying direct from the farmer, they get that piece of education, they get to answer those questions about where the food's coming from and who's doing the producing. And that helps them understand that food system and our agricultural foundation even better.
I'm a big supporter of this. These initiatives are fantastic, and they've really taken hold here, taken root in Vermont, so to speak. The Farm to Institution program. How has that program expanded over the years? And I know you're very excited about how that's been expanding in schools. Yes,
it's really started here in Vermont with our schools, our Farm to School program. And I'm excited that we have some national leaders in the Fletcher Island Healthcare, one of the top 2 healthcare organizations in terms of sourcing locally. And we've just engaged in a conversation with Sodexo, a French multinational corporation that provides 34,000 meals a day in the state of Vermont, and they're working with us to figure out how to source their food locally as well. And farmers, it is a growing world. It's a changing world for farmers as well. There's a lot of competition out there. How can they remain competitive and innovative in this more modern food world? You know, the most important thing that farmers need to tend to is quality. And we have a great reputation in Vermont for quality agricultural and value-added products. And we have a great reputation in the Northeast. And that marketplace from Portland to Washington, D.C., people know what Vermont stands for. And when our farmers produce those quality products, whether it's dairy products and cheeses or meat products and vegetables that get sold in that Boston and Washington marketplace, that reinforces our reputation every single day. And we need to do that. We need to run businesses well and meet that market demand.
And finally, I'd like to talk about this. Renewed interest in farm to table is becoming a trend, you know, in the urban settings. Can you talk about that?
Well, it's pretty exciting to see this interest in food go to the urban environments where people are putting in rooftop gardens and taking that extra piece of land in the neighborhood and growing some vegetables. That's the kind of literacy we're looking for.
All right, Chuck Ross, thank you for joining Newsmakers, and thank you. I'm Nathan O'Leary.